It has been exactly 2 weeks since my last fall market, and ever since then I've been trying to market prep like crazy for my upcoming winter shows. So today I thought I could do a little market prep recap for the past 2 weeks before we get into finishing some of my whips and working on my newest pattern. So grab yourself a drink or a project to work on and let's hop right in. Hi, my name is Veronica and I run a small business where I mostly sell crochet plushies at markets and plushies and patterns online. And let's hop right into the overview of everything I crocheted in the past 2 weeks. You can already kind of see some of it set up back here, and then the rest of the plushies are in this big bin. So let's get into those first. Let me bring you just a little closer so we can talk about what's going on here. So as you can see, these are quite a lot of these baby penguins. This is a free pattern by Crochet by Janina, and I recently made them for the first time in like over a year, and I brought 5 of them to my last fall market and they all sold pretty quickly. So I decided that for my winter markets where penguins tend to be pretty popular, I want to make even more of them, and I set myself a goal of making 50 of them, and I've been pretty hard at work with all of these, as you can tell. So we still have a couple of them missing, so 7 are still missing, but 43 of them are finished. I decided to go ahead and choose a couple of colors to work on. I decided against making regular looking penguins, so like black on top and then a gray body. I decided to go with lots of different colors for these small guys because for little items like these, colorful variations tend to sell the best. So I decided to go with lots of different colors. We have pink, green, and I decided to do different amounts for the different colors. So green, I decided to only make 4 of them because I don't really know, like I think that green might be a little too exotic for a little penguin. So 4 is the least. So for the green, I want to make the least of them. So these are all finished. For the pink and the orange, I decided to go ahead and set myself a goal of making 5 of them. So the pinks are finished, and the orange, I still need to finish 2 of them. I have the upper parts for these started though, so we will work on finishing up these later on. And then the other 4 colors, I decided to make 9 of them each. So we have this dark turquoise, which I have completely finished all 9 of them. We have a lighter variation of turquoise. I still need to make 1 more of these, but I have the upper half of it finished. And then we have the classic blue and a two-toned purple. And for both of these, I still need to make 2 of them, which we will work on later. So that is my big goal, to finish up all of these today. But I think I've already made quite a good progress for them. And I count them as my mini items. So I will be selling these for €6 each. So once I have all 50 of these finished today, I will have prepped €300 worth of inventory just in these little penguins, which I think is pretty good. So that was the first big project I was working on. And let me now grab this big box and show you the rest of the plushies that I finished in the past 2 weeks. Okay, so I have now grabbed the big box, and let me just take out the first plushies here. I worked on these. I think these were the first project I worked on after my last fall market. So at my fall markets, I actually ended up selling quite a lot more of my bigger items, so like €30 plus than I expected. And last year at my winter markets, a lot of bigger items sold because people are looking for gifts then. So I really wanted to make some bigger items again. So that is when I decided to make 2 of these cows. So this is the Crochet Grove pattern, and I chose the exact same colors. They still turned out a little different, like the spot on the eye is just a little different. I don't know what happened there, but I'm really glad that I have these 2 finished, and this is such a fun plushie to make, and these tend to do super well for me. So every time I've made one of these cows and brought it to a market, it immediately sold. So I really wanted to make at least 2 of them. I would love to make more, but I cut myself off at 2 because I still have so much to prep. So I'm still glad that I managed to finish these 2, and I sell them for 35 euros each. So that means these 2 guys are another 70 euros worth of inventory. Then next up, and after this, it's in no particular order, I was working on lots of cats because they always sell super well, and I currently have 4 of them finished. No, 5 of them finished. There's another one here, and I had a couple of these as works in progresses from my last market. So these 3 I made the bodies for at my last fall market. So this is why they're solid colored. The solid colored cats are like sometimes popular, but most of the time the like spotted kitties tend to sell first. But I still want to have a couple of them in my inventory because they will sell eventually, and it's like much easier to work on a cat body like that while at a market. So that is why I prepped a couple of solid colored kitties while I was at the market. So these 3 are finished, and then I ended up taking some yarn to one of our Thursday nights family dinners, and I took a lot of different like fur colored yarns, and I made these 2 little cats as well. So 2 spotted kitties, one with this sand color and then one with like dark brown and black. I ended up using 2 different tones for this because I almost ran out of the dark brown, so that is why this happened. But like I said, these tend to sell first, like these spotted kitties, so that is why I chose to work on some of those. And I actually have 3 more cat whips currently in the works, and they're all spotted. Let me actually go ahead and grab them quickly to show you. So we have another spotted kitty with like lighter brown spots. We have a cat with orange spots in the works. And then I have a half and half orange and white kitty where I kind of messed up on the color changes. Like this is not very centered. You can kind of tell that this is like kind of like a little twisted to the side, but still I think this one will find a home. These tend to do super well as well, the ones that are like half and half. So I really want to work on finishing these up as well today. And yeah, the pattern, I always get asked about this pattern. The pattern is by Big Bebes on Etsy, and I sell my cats for 14 euros. So that means with 7 of them, that should be 91 euros in inventory once I have these 3 finished. So yeah, that is what I was working on in terms of cats. Then at my last market, I also worked on making some dino bodies. So I finished up this one already. So this is like the free Brontosaurus pattern by Kaylee Crochets on Instagram. And these sold so well at my fall markets that I really need to remake them, especially in this color. I had 3 of them and all 3 sold. So I have one of these remade currently. And as you just saw, I have another one in the works in this bright green, and then I have a half finished one in baby pink where I ended up running out of yarn to be able to finish that. So of course I want to work on these 2 as well today, and I sell them for 22 euros each. So once I have these 3 finished, I will have 66 euros worth of dinos made. Something else that I was really working on in the past 2 weeks are my turtles. So these little guys, because they sold super well at my fall market. I ended up making quite a lot of the body parts for them at my last fall market. So especially like the heads and the fins in this beige color, I prepped quite a lot of them to then be able to crochet them all together later. And I managed to finish 5 of these little guys. So we have beige and lilac, beige and mustard, beige and green. And these are all like a little crumpled because they were in this bin for a while, but you can easily like fluff them up again. Then we have beige and berry, And then finally a two-toned purple little guy. So I sell these for 16 euros each, and with 5 of them finished, that's like 80 euros worth of turtles made. And then next up, I prepped quite a lot of those as well. I made 10 of my bee chains. So these little bees on keychains in the yellow and black color combo, because I sold completely out of them at my fall market and they actually sold pretty well. So I really wanted to remake those. And as I said, I made 10 of them. Let me try and get them all together. So here they are, all 10 of them completed. And I sell them for 6 euros each. So that is 60 euros worth of bee chains. And then for another Thursday night family dinner, I ended up taking all of the colors to work on penguin bodies. So these little, what I call stress ball birds, I stuffed them pretty firmly to make them extra squishy. This is a pattern by Haru Crochets, and these sold so well. I only have 2 of them left currently, so I made 10 more of those. I won't be able to hold them all, but I made 10 of those. I made all of the bodies while we were out, and then I just finished them up later, and I sell them for 10 euros each. So that is 100 euros worth of penguin stress ball birds. And then finally, I was really motivated to start writing some more patterns. Even though I currently don't have like any time to spare for that, I was really inspired and I decided to go ahead and write not 1 but 2 more patterns. So first of all, I wrote a pattern for this little reindeer. This is what it looks like, and I of course made 2 of them to really test out the pattern and take pictures, all of that. So these little guys, I'm not 100% decided yet what I want to sell them for. I'm thinking either 22 or 25 euros. I'm thinking that I will go with 22 because they're kind of like a similar size as this one. So I'm thinking that this would be a good starting price, and then we will see if they do like super well, we can always bump them up to 25. But yeah, I made these 2 little guys, and then I wrote, as I said, I wrote another pattern, and this is for a little fox. So this little guy, and I currently only have 1 of them made. So actually today I really want to make another one, or I actually need to make another one, because currently as I'm filming this, I haven't actually written up the pattern or like finished up the pattern yet, and my testicle closes tomorrow. So tomorrow I will need to send out the pattern to my testers, and the pattern will include like pictures of the parts and like step-by-step instructions. So I really need to make another one and take pictures of the process. I also want to film a little video tutorial of how to attach the legs to the belly, because with my little reindeer pattern, my testers and I came to the conclusion that that would be really helpful to have like a little video tutorial for that part. So I of course want to do the same thing for the fox, because it's kind of like the same technique, except like the counts of the rows are different. So I want to film that today and like make another one of these little guys to be able to finish up the pattern. So this is everything that I made in the past 2 weeks, which is kind of crazy. I will go ahead and total it all up right now and give you a little bit of a total of what we're currently at with prepping. Okay, so currently with all of the inventory added up, including the 2 brontosauruses that are works in progress and the 3 cats that I still need to finish up, as well as the couple of baby penguins that are still missing, I'm at 840 euros for the past 2 weeks that I have prepped in inventory, which is pretty good. I'm always trying to get to like 500 euros worth of inventory in a week. So we still have a little room to improve, but I also ended up doing quite a lot of other things like writing 2 patterns, and then also I was prepping candle inventory like crazy, because I actually have a market coming up where I will only be selling candles, because sometimes I actually do make wise decisions, and I signed up for a last minute market with only my candles because that is like more realistic for me to actually keep up with inventory throughout the season, and I already have too many markets booked with my plushies, so that would just be unrealistic of me. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and sign up for a market with just my candles next weekend. So I was prepping inventory for that as well, which took up quite a lot of my time. So yeah, that was the inventory check-in for the past 2 weeks. Let me now clean all of this up, and then we will get into some market prepping for today as well. Okay, so the first task that I actually want to tackle is making another one of my foxes and taking pictures and a video for my pattern, as I mentioned, because currently it's still kind of light out. It's actually quite a gloomy day, but that really means that I need to focus on that first because I need to take pictures in the daylight to include in the pattern. So that will be the first thing that we start to work on. I have written out a list of what pictures I want to take for my pattern so that I don't forget to take one of the step-by-step instructions that I want to include. So I have 12 pictures that I want to take and one video, as I said. So let me get to work on that, and I will check in with you guys throughout the process and yeah, show you what I got accomplished. Okay friends, it's now a little while later and I wanted to check in and show you what I was working on. So I pretty much finished my little fox. So I have the head right here and then I have the body here. So the only thing left to do is sew the head onto the body and then it will be finished. But I already took all of the pictures that I wanted to take for this pattern, so that is finished. So this is the only sewing left to do for this one. And then actually while I was working on the fox, my mom ended up calling me and we were chatting on the phone for like an hour or so. So I couldn't really take any pictures. So while we were talking, I finished up the 3 little penguins I had in the works. So 2 orange guys and then the light turquoise little guy. So I had the tops made for them, so like the upper part, and I just had to finish up the little bodies for them. So these are now completed and we're down to only 4 more little penguins that I need to finish. So 2 blue ones and then 2 purple ones. So these are the only ones left to do. And then I also ended up putting in the eyes into my little cat works in progresses. So these are also like on their way to be finished. So now I will of course finish this one first, sew this one up, and then we can get into the works in progress. And then also when I was working on my fox, I actually got an Etsy order for a little rainbow bee. So we will pack that up in just a little bit after I finish the fox. So let me do that and then we can move on to the other tasks.
Traffic ain't a waste of time when you were there to hold my hand, but I've had it with the 405 since you said I'd missed my last chance. But I know that you've been asking about me. If I tried though to get you back, would you let me? It might take some time to change your mind.
Okay, so I decided to turn on the light because it's just a little too gloomy for me out there. But as you saw, I finished up my little fox. So we now have 2 of these little guys completed and I think they look absolutely cute. I ended up using a different tone of dark brown for this one than I did for this one, but I think they both turned out absolutely adorable. So by the time you're watching this video, this pattern will not have been released yet, but it's coming on Monday, November 10th. So that is when this pattern will be out. So keep a look out for that if you're interested. And now I wanted to move on and actually pack up my order quickly because I have the bee in my inventory and I really want to send that out tomorrow. So here is the little bee that was ordered, so a little rainbow bee, and I already have all of my materials laid out in front of me to pack this order. So of course, let me actually show you what I'm looking at. So we have the tissue paper, I have one of my new business cards, so this is the first order that will get a new business card. I kind of redesigned them because I ended up running out of the old ones. And then we have two little freebie stickers. I ended up going with a pink theme for that. So let me pack this up now and then we can move on to finishing my works in progresses. I almost forgot to include my little thank you card that has a QR code on the back to scan to easily come back to my Etsy shop and leave a review, because that is kind of important. So what I like to do on these, I like to write the name of my customer up here just to make it a little more personal. So let me do that and pack that into the order as well.
It comes and goes in the blink of an eye. Soon as I swear you've been left behind, all the colors come back so bright. Wish I could keep you in black and white.
So now this one is packed up and I will be sending that out tomorrow. I still need to print the shipping label, which I will do back at home. But it's finished, it's packed up, and I can drop that off on my way to work tomorrow. So that is pretty good. I am super happy that I get to send this package out so quickly. That usually never happens, that I actually have the things in my inventory that I sold on Etsy. So that feels pretty good. But now I will go ahead and I think I will start out by finishing up these little kitties because they don't need a lot of work to be done still. So let me do that and I will check in with you guys once these are completed. Okay guys, so I have finished up the two cats that I was able to finish. I still have the third one over here, but I actually forgot that I don't have any more of this light orange over here. So I have some back at home, like a partial skein left of that. So I will need to take this one back home and finish that one up back there. But these two little guys are finished and completely ready to be added into my market inventory that we've prepped this week. So now I will go ahead and quickly make the 4 little penguins, and hopefully that doesn't take me like a huge amount of time because it's already kind of getting late a little bit and I actually want to relax a little bit today before heading into the next week. So I really am trying to crunch it out and get all of the plushies finished that I really wanted to finish. I wanted to start the new week off with a clean slate and not a ton of current whips. So that is the plan. I will work on the baby penguins, 4 of them left to do. So hopefully that will take me like not that much time. We will see.
Bad traffic ain't a waste of time. You were there to hold my hand, but I've had it with the 405 since you said I'd missed my last chance. But I know that you've been asking about me. If I tried though to get you back, would you let me? It might take some time.
Okay friends, so we're now in crunch time. As you can tell, it's already dark outside, so that is going on currently. I also finished all of my little baby penguins, so 50 of them are completed, and honestly that feels so good to have accomplished that in just the 2 weeks since my last market. That was my goal and that feels so good, and I feel really stocked up with these now, and I'm really hoping that these will continue to be as popular as they were for my fall markets. And now the only 2 plushies that are left to finish for this week are the 2 brontosauruses. So this should be quick work. He only needs a tail, and then this one will take a little longer since it still needs quite a lot of the body as well. So I think I will start out with this one, finish that one up quickly, and then move on to the final plushie of this week. So we will see how long it takes me. It's exactly 6 o'clock right now, and I'm really hoping that I will be finished before 7 so that I have a little bit of a chill evening. As I was saying, I really want to relax a little before the start of the next week. So we will see about that, but let me start working on this one and I will check in with you guys like in between the two dinos or once I'm finished with them. And with that, the final plushie of this 2 weeks of market prep is done. So we have finished the brontosauruses, the whip basket is empty. This feels like such a good reset for next week. So I'm definitely super happy that I got done so much inventory in these 2 weeks. With the additional fox plushie that we made earlier, I will sell these for 22 euros as well as like all of these sized items. I actually made 862 euros worth of inventory. So not my 1,000 euro goal that I kind of had set for myself, but still I'm super happy with the amount of plushies that I got finished. So let me know down in the comments below which plushie was your favorite out of the past 2 weeks makes. And let me know what you are market prepping currently. I know that a lot of you guys are also prepping for winter markets. So I'm always curious to hear what other crocheters are making. And I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and watching this video all the way until the end. And I will see you guys again next week for another video. Also stay tuned for this little fox pattern, which is coming out on Monday. And yeah, I will see you then. So until then, bye!